What is up, guys? It's your boy Torius back again with another video. Today I'm gonna be asking the questions, the age-old question: does LSD really last for 12 hours? We'll find out. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment below what you think about the video, and let's get into it. Oh, I had a little switch up. You feel me? Alright, so does LSD last for 12 hours? Honestly, for me, it lasted me for like 20, right? It lasted me like 20, like it lasted me like 2 days. Like I was feeling like the high or whatever, the trip, and then it lasted me for like 20 hours. Like it lasted me so long. But honestly, it's fun, right? I'm gonna be answering questions about like what like the myths and misconceptions of LSD, because I've done it a couple times, right? Like, I'm in no way a psychedelics expert. I just listen to a lot of Joe Rogan podcasts. So maybe that might make me a psychedelics expert. I don't know, but let's get into it because acid is my favorite thing to talk about. So, a little backstory. When I was younger, I was always very interested in psychedelics, right, and hallucinogens. Like I was always like watching these cartoons. Like they would show me in school these like these old videos about like say no to drugs, right? Like, these propaganda videos about not smoking weed and not doing drugs and shit. And it's funny because they would use cartoons to like appeal to the children, but what it kind of did was kind of the opposite effect. Like it made me super interested in doing it, right? Like I always said, like, oh, I'm gonna do acid one day. I just don't know when. Like probably when I'm 25. And it's so funny because I literally manifested that. So when I was 25, I did it, right? And it's so wild for me to think about how like kids when I was in school was doing acid in school. Because I cannot imagine that. Because I had way too much energy just being an adult. Like imagine being a little jit, not knowing what the fuck is going on and shit. Thank God for me, I vlogged my first acid trip and I can't wait to edit it. I'm just so lazy and I don't want to get in trouble, but I'm already talking about it all the time, so it don't really matter. My little snake. Alright, so does acid last 12 hours? That's the first question, right? Because I would always look up like what are the effects of LSD? What are the effects of mushrooms? Like I would always be so curious, right? I was always mostly curious about acid. Because people would talk about it and they'll be like, oh, you don't even know what time it is. Like your sense of time is just dilapidated or diluted or whatever. And I'll be like, what? And they'll be like, yeah, you can feel like you're in it's like a lifetime. That's not fucking true, honestly. I feel like the time dilation, it says, honestly, when people say like, oh, you don't understand your sense of time, it's like, okay, when you're doing art, you don't understand the sense of time either. When you're doing something, anything, like when you're with your sweetheart, you don't understand your sense of time either. It's like what they say, time flies when you're having fun. Like acid is just fun, so it's like your sense of time, like if you're having fun, honestly, it's so funny because like when I was, the last time I remember being on it, I felt like an hour passed by, or like 2-3 hours passed by, and I noticed that it was only like 5 minutes. And I'm just like, what the fuck? It's only been 5 minutes. And I got so mad. But not mad in a bad way. I was just like so excited. Like it was just fun, right? It was just so fun. Because I look at my phone and I'm just like, damn, it's like no time. Like it just, like you're having so much fun and the time doesn't feel like, I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, honestly, if you're in a, like what they say about set and setting is important, I guess. I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna do it, you should just be open to whatever set and setting you're in, right? Like don't like, because the thing is like they'll tell you like be in a good environment, be with good people, but that's so objective, right? I mean that's so subjective because it's like, man, nigga, that could be literally any. That's horrible advice, right? Like honestly, I feel like instead of making sure you're in a good environment, just make sure you're not gonna get in trouble, because you can fucking, like, you're just gonna go wild, right? Just imagine that you're gonna go wild. Like at least for me, every time I've done it, I've just gone wild, right? Like it's just the most amazing thing ever. It just takes away your humanness and turns you into like a wild boy or like a wild girl or whatever. At least for me, like when I was on it, it just made me wild. Like I didn't care about the consequences. Like I could have like I was in my boy's crib and we were just yelling in the street. Like we're in the middle of the street, running around the neighborhood, just yelling like ah, just letting out all our energy and shit. Just I was literally laying on the road, like oh my god, my life, and I was like looking up into the stars, and then I saw like so far, and I was like, what the fuck? This shit is so insane. It was so fun. Um, but the thing is, because I was with, like, honestly, like, bruh, because I was with some girls that made me upset. Like, I was so angry before I got in there, right? Like, I was in a horrible mood in the first place, right? Like, I was like, first of all, the second time I did it, there was this girl I was in love with. And I literally saw that she was on a date with some nigga, right? And I was so angry. And I was just like, but I was like, you know, and it's like, is that the ideal situation to look at right before you do LSD, right? And I was planning on seeing her later on that week, and I see her on a date, and I'm about to take acid, and it's like, okay, set and setting, my set is horrible. Like I'm so angry, you know, but I still did it, right? The thing is like you don't know what set and setting you're gonna have or you're gonna be in. So the thing is just you just gotta go with the flow, honestly. I feel like the best advice if you're gonna take acid is just go with the flow of life. The life is gonna be in a flow, and you're gonna see that flow, and you're gonna understand. Okay, it's when people start fighting that flow. That's when you get into the bad areas, right? Sometimes the flow might take like it's good to have good people around you, because if you're just like in a bad mental state, you might like at least that only happened to me when I was on shrooms, right? Because on acid I can handle myself. I could deal with myself being see that when they say like flashbacks, right? Like they say like, oh, you get LSD flashbacks. I feel like, all right, that's another thing, because I would always see like, oh, sometimes you can like be driving and then you're all of a sudden you're tripping again, right? And it's funny because I saw this dude talking about that on TikTok, I think, and then all the comments were like, damn, where the they said that I would have acid flashback. Where they at? I could really use one. I could really use one, right? And I could use some shits too, because I love acid. Like I love being on it, right? Like every single experience I had has been so beautiful and amazing. And like I don't know, it's just I just never had a bad trip. So I've been chilling on it. Like I know it's a drug and I know it's not good for you, but it's honestly it's made my life so much more positive. Like my that's why I always wanted to only just try hallucinogens. I never wanted to try like speed or meth or ecstasy or none of that shit, right? Or like coke, because I just care about like the great beyond, I guess. But yeah, what other myths? And that you'll start seeing shit, right? Like I never really saw anything. I kind of did see some stuff. Like the second time I did it, I saw it's like I went to this room, right, and I just like chilled there, and everything was white, and then I don't know, it was real fun. I don't even know how to explain it. Like the thing is like when they say like, oh, this is like an acid trip when you see like all these, but honestly, that was like, and it's funny because I did see that stuff, but I didn't give a fuck. Like most of the things that people say about acid, like, oh, this is what happened. Like when you read about acid and they say the effects, most of that stuff is very underwhelming, right? Like that's like saying like, oh, when you smoke weed, the smoke is gonna taste like this, or you're gonna have guts residue on your fingers, right? Or you're gonna, or you might burn your finger lighting the blunt. But it's like, okay, but what about the experience, right? Like, what about how you're gonna see the world, how you're gonna feel, how it's gonna take you, Like they don't explain none of that stuff. They just explain the negative. What they just like try to take something so beautiful and positive and turn it negative, right? Like, oh, you're gonna see things, like you don't see shit, you understand shit. You feel me? I don't know. Like I feel like it's still illegal and shit, so it's not really like something really to praise, I guess. But there are a lot of things that were stopping me from doing it, and then I realized like, oh shit, you know what? This is actually a super cool thing. Like I loved it. Like it was the best thing ever. It made me really understand myself, and it was the best thing ever. I'm not saying I'm not condoning no drug use, right? Don't be doing drugs. But if you're gonna do a drug, I would recommend acid. And just try to be as positive as you can. Like, it's not even about being positive, because honestly, it's gonna force you to be positive. Like, honestly, the drug is gonna force you. Damn, my boy just said Wiz Khalifa got killed. What the fuck? No way. That's crazy. But yeah, LSD is the best is the best thing in the world. It's gonna, like, you shouldn't expect nothing from it, right? You should just let it take you, because it's like a roller coaster ride. You don't. It's like being like, oh, like if you ask, how should I be on this roller coaster ride? Should I be happy? Should I be sad? Like, obviously, if you're happy, you're gonna enjoy the roller coaster ride. But if you're sad, you're not gonna care. Like, if you just like broke up with your sweetie, you're not gonna be, you're not gonna be enjoying the roller coaster ride. You feel me? But as long as it lasts, honestly, like, if you're having a good time, you don't give a fuck about how long it lasts. You just want it to keep going and going. But one of my homeboys kind of ruined it for me, because he said, like, oh, it's like torture because you can't go to sleep. And then I would try to go to sleep and I couldn't. And then I just kept thinking about what he said, and I started seeing all these crazy things, and I was just like, oh, okay, that kind of sucks. And then I went on my computer and I made a happy little summary, right? Oh, that's another thing. It makes you so creative. Like, it made, like, honestly, I always would see things that people do, right? Like, I always see people do stuff, like, oh, I made this house out of carrots, and it's like, how do you think of that? Or, like, like, I saw this dude make a Kobe Bryant portrait out of nails. Like, he took a nail and he would chip it out of glass into Kobe Bryant, and I'm like, damn, how the fuck you think about doing that? But it's because of acid. Acid helps you tap into that creative side of you. But yeah, take this however you want. If you want to try it. If you don't. It's up to you. I did it because of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs said, oh, have you ever tried LSD? Oh, I could tell. Because honestly, that's how you fucking understand how to make a fucking iPhone. Like, this iPhone I'm recording on, it was because of LSD. Oh my God. With that being said, like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment below what you think about the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.